Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. And I just want to commend President Rolando for saying the name Hogrogian correctly. On behalf of our 50,000 members, it is my honor and pleasure to deliver a message of solidarity to your convention. I want to thank President Rolando for his gracious invitation allowing me to address this body. I want to correct some things that Fred said during his introduction, and thank you for the kind introduction. I come from a postal family. My father was a career postal worker, spent over 40 years. He began his postal career as a mail clerk, working on the mail trains going between New York City and Buffalo. I actually started my postal career in 1971 as a casual letter carrier. That was 1971. For those of you, the retirees in the room, it was June of 1971. So it was the last month of the old post office department and the first month of the new postal service. And I'm an 18-year-old kid out of school, you know. I didn't know what the heck these people were talking about. It was a real big thing. I was just looking to get a paycheck and get drunk at night. But I mean, so that was 1971. I got the bug. So I put in for a career job, and I got a job as a PTF clerk in Hackensack, New Jersey. And I went to school at Fairleigh Dickinson University in Teaneck, New Jersey. I went to school during the day, and I worked at night. So I did that for about 3 years, saved some money. I figured, well, I better spend some more time in school. So I worked the post office, I quit school, worked the post office for 1 more year, graduated in 1975. I said, well, I need some money, so I'll put in for reinstatement, and I got offered a job in 1975 as a mail handler in the New Jersey BMC in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, this is 1975, and I said, well, I'll take this until something better comes along. And 42 years later, here I am. But let me tell you, I mean, like I'm saying, I was the son of a postal worker. I've been around the post office all my life, been working for the post office 71, I've been involved in a wildcat strike in 1978. I've seen anthrax, I've seen UPS strikes, but I ain't seen nothing like I'm seeing today in the post office. This is the worst I've seen the post office during my entire life. And the message is, we got to stay united. I mean, like I say, I've been around over 40 years, and I've seen a lot of big bickering between the various crafts. You know, well, the clerks ain't doing nothing, the carriers ain't doing nothing, the mail handlers are too stupid. All that shit's got to stop. All that stuff's got to stop. Because we got bigger battles to fight. We can't be fighting each other because that's what they want. But overall, the Mail Handlers Union and the Carriers Union have a long history of coordinated efforts and activities, and both at the national level and the local levels. All over the country, mail handlers and carriers work closely together on a large number of issues. We've enjoyed a strong fraternal bond, which has proved beneficial to both our memberships. We have worked closely, along with the APW and the rural carriers, on a number of important issues. We joined together in fighting the ill-advised closing and consolidations of mail processing facilities. That's our issues, but we join you in your fight when they want to close the small post office. That's how it works. We support you, you support us. We're fighting to restore the service standards back to their July 2012 levels. We are fighting to prevent the privatization of the Postal Service, and make no mistake about it, that is the big battle we have before us. The MPMHU and the NLC both strongly supported the APW's successful Stop Staples campaign. We are fighting to maintain six-day delivery. We are fighting to maintain door-to-door delivery, both for residential and commercial customers. We're fighting to reject all efforts to diminish our service. And people keep forgetting we're the United States Postal Service. And as Fred said, along with the APW and the National Rural Letter Carriers Association, fighting to enact meaningful postal reform legislation that is fair for postal workers, fair for the Postal Service, and fair for the American people. And make no mistake about it, President Rolando and the NLAC have been at the forefront of this battle, and thank you for your leadership, Fred. I have personally worked with President Rolando on these issues and pledged to continue working together on these issues going into the future. As I said, we support you support us. We also have to work together to ensure that worker-friendly, union-friendly, postal-friendly candidates, regardless of political affiliation, are elected to Congress. No longer can we trust a guy or a woman just because they got a D next to their name. So we need to elect people who get us. We also have to fight to elect a worker-friendly, union-friendly, postal-friendly candidate to the White House, because sure as hell we certainly don't have one now. The Trump administration has declared war on all postal and federal workers and on the Postal Service itself. On June 21st, the Office of Management and Budget released its so-called Reform Plan and Reorganization Recommendations for reorganizing the federal government. Buried deep in the 128-page report is the President's plan to restructure the Postal Service, and this is a quote, into a sustainable business model and thereby prepare it for future conversion into a privately held company. All right, and that's buried like right in the middle of this report. So all pretenses are now gone. We knew it all along, but now even he agrees. Trump and his corporate cronies has made it clear that they want to privatize the Postal Service. And okay, now get this, the stated reason for this report. I mean, Trump, as soon as he took office, tasked this group, whatever it is, to study how to improve the government. And the reason for this report is that he alleges that public trust in the federal government has declined over the last decade. All right, so the stated purpose of this report is to put trust back in the government. Now, certainly over the last 2 years, there's a lot of trust that's been lost in the White House. But, so the stated purpose, nobody trusts the government. So what does he do? The Postal Service, year after year after year, has been voted the most efficient and most trusted agency of the federal government. So these clowns get together and they say, how are we going to make the government more trusted? The guy raises his hand. Well, the post office, that's a pretty trusted organization. All right, so it's decided. We'll privatize it. It don't make any sense. If they want to restore trust in the government, they should work with us, not against us. The unavoidable result of privatization of the Postal Service would be the destruction of universal postal services for every American. Many Americans would lose daily access to their postal services, especially in rural America. And the cost for those who retain such services would be at a greatly increased rate. Now just imagine if the Postal Service moves to a company that is driven by profit. So you think you're worried about 6-day delivery now? Well, you're lucky if you get 5, 4, 3 days a week. So the danger is there. So postal workers, like I say, we have to stay united to ensure that Trump's dreams do not become a reality. As I say, I'm in my 5th decade as a postal worker. My father spent 40 years. There's a lot of retirees in this room who go back a lot further than me. Everybody in this room has spent a lot of blood, sweat, and tears making the United States Postal Service the greatest postal service in the United States. And God damn it, I'm not going to let some asshole in the White House take it away without a fight. To be sure, the Postal Service currently faces a difficult financial situation, mainly caused by the mandatory pre-funding of the retiree health benefits ordered by Congress in 2006. Well, Congress broke it. Congress better fix it. As the Postmaster General says, the financial problems of the Postal Service are serious but solvable. There is legislation currently pending in both houses of Congress and proposed rules already issued by the Postal Regulatory Commission that address USPS finances. Taken together, these proposals provide a roadmap for putting the Postal Service on sound financial footing and maintain it as the cherished institution that it always has been. If the policy makers are truly interested in saving the Post Office, they should take the time to read the white paper led by the NLAC, signed on by the other 3 postal unions, the white paper on how to save the Post Office. And quite simply, work with us to fix it. Don't sell it to the highest corporate bidder who will just run it into the ground. Congress will have to decide whether to maintain a public universal postal service for all or allow profit-hungry corporate robber barons to run it into the ground. We have to make sure that we remain united on these issues, all postal workers, and make it clear to the powers that be that we will not be divided. The mail handlers have remained committed to stand shoulder and shoulder with the letter carriers and all postal workers to fight any battles that need to be fought. Another issue for which we must jointly prepare is the attack on all federal and postal workers by some members of this Congress and the White House. You've heard it over and over again. They have to drain the swamp. But make no mistake about it, brothers and sisters, they're talking about us. We are in the swamp no matter where we work, and they want to drain us, they want to get rid of us, they want to privatize us. There are already several proposals out there that would adversely affect federal and postal workers' wages and benefits and working conditions. Some proposals increase employees' contributions while at the same time reducing their benefits. Some proposals would reduce or eliminate the rights of federal and postal workers. These proposals include reduction or even elimination of our collective bargaining rights. Send us back to the future in 1970. Before we were allowed to collective bargain. They're going to get there. Somebody's going to get there and try to ram that down our throats. And then they have to pay for the big Trump tax cuts to the rich. How's he going to pay for it? Out of our pockets. In the Trump budget, he's attacking our pensions. He wants to increase our contributions up to 6%. While at the same time reducing benefits by going to a high 5 average rather than the current high 3. It is also proposed to eliminate COLAs for FERS recipients. They want to attack our health benefits. They want to limit employer contributions to 65%, down the road even lower, and down the road even further, take it away altogether. And he's coming after our union time. He's already signed executive orders for other federal agencies It's only a matter of time before they come to us. These are attacks on the postal and federal workforce, an attack on all of us. We must stand together, all postal and federal workers, to defeat these draconian proposals. When we get attacked, we must fight back. We must stand united with all postal and federal workers, and we got to let them know we're not alone. It's not just postal workers, we got the federal workers. It's not just the federal workers, we got the whole labor movement behind us. It's not just the whole labor movement behind us, we got the American people behind us. Now we're going to take some hits. Brothers and sisters, I'm not promising you a rose garden. We're going to take some hits. But the key thing is, when we get knocked down, we get up and we just continue to fight. And keep fighting, fighting, fighting. So, brothers and sisters, I think I talked enough because I really need a cigarette really bad. So again, I want to thank President Rolando for his kind invitation, and have a great convention. Thank you very much.